Good morning, friends. Today we're going to be doing problem set lesson 9. By now in this module you should know that the first thing we always do is write our name and then read the directions. So this one says round to the nearest thousand. We are going to underline the place value that they're telling us to round, and we are going to circle the digit next to it. Okay. We need to look at this digit and decide, is this above the midpoint or below the midpoint? We said 4 and below. We're going to leave that place value alone. Okay, so this one would round to 5,000. For B, we're going to underline the place value that we're searching for, or comparing. Circle the one next to it. It's a 5. Okay, if it's 5 or above, we bump this place value up. So this will become 5,000. Letter C says 42,099. We are still making sure that we are focused on the right place value. We're focused at that thousands place. Okay, we're circling the number next to it. It's a 0. So everything after that, we are going to make into zeros. And remember, we left this number alone because it was 4 and below here. Again, make sure that you're underlining the place value that we are looking at or comparing. Circle the number next to it. That is 5 or above. So we need to bump this one up. Okay. Letter E says, explain how you found your answer for part D. Okay. So let's talk about what we did. For letter D, what did we do? Well, we looked at the thousands place, right? Because that was the place value that we are comparing. So for letter D, I looked at the, now please make sure you're using your resources to spell the word thousand. Remember, it's right up here. If it's there, I expect you to spell it right. I looked at the thousands place value, or the thousands place, which was a 1, period. Then I looked at the hundreds place. It was 500. So I knew to round up the thousands place to 2,000. Okay, so for letter D, and follow along if you need to, for letter D, I looked at the thousands place, which was a 1. Then I looked at the hundreds place. It was 500. So I knew to round up the thousands place to 2,000. It can be tricky to put into words what you're doing, but you guys are doing pretty good with doing this. So let's continue on to number 2. Round to the nearest 10,000. So we're going to underline the place value. We're going to circle the one next to it. 4 and below, we'll leave this place value alone, but it's 5 or above, so we're going to bump that one up. And since it's 10,000s, the next 10,000 would be 3 10,000s, or 30,000. Remember, if it helps you to stay focused, count by those thousands or 10,000s in your head as you're doing this. So 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 would be the next place value. Okay, letter B, 34,920. I'm going to underline the place value that we're comparing, 10,000. I'm going to circle the number next to it. 4 and below, we leave this number alone. So this would round to 30,000. Okay. Again, we are focused on our 10,000s place value. So, if it's 5 or above, we round the place value up. The 700,000 is going to stay there. Okay, that doesn't disappear because we're focused on the thousands place, 10,000s place. Again, we're going to see the same exact thing on this next one. The 700,000, it's going to stay unless it's something that needs to round up like it did the other day with the millions. Remember when we had to round up to the millions, but we're not there yet. Probably the next one we'll get to that. Okay, so 7 in our hundreds place, 100,000s place. We're going to underline our place value that we're focusing on, which is the 10,000s, and circling the one next to it. 5 or above, we round it up. That's right. Okay, so this would be 710,000. Our 0 would round up to a 1. Explain why two problems have the same answer. Write another number that has the same answer when rounded to the nearest 10,000. Okay, so we could say letters A and B both round to 30,000 because $26,000 rounded up to 30,000 and 34,920 rounded down to 30,000. Now, they also ask you for another number that has the same answer. You could pick anything that was above 25,000 to round up to 30,000. Okay? So I'm going to just say another number to round to 30,000. It is 29,900. Okay? That one would round to 30,000 as well. Okay, moving on. Number 3, round to the nearest 100,000. Letter A. So we're looking at the 100,000s. We're circling the one next to it, the next place value, 10,000s. If it's 4 and below, we're going to leave this place value alone. So 800,000. We are going to underline our place value, the 100,000s, circling the number next to it in the 10,000s. It's a 5 and above. We need to bump this up 1. So now we will have 900,000. Okay. 761,004. We're going to underline the 700,000, circle our 10,000s place value, which is 6. 5 and above, we need to bump this one up. So we are going to make that 800,000. In letter D, 991,965, we are going to underline the 9. We are going to circle the place value next to it. Now this is where I was saying if there was numbers in front of it, we needed to be careful. So 9 is going to round this one up. If we round this one up, we are actually going to go to the next place value. What is the next place value after 900,000? 1 million. So there you go. Explain why two problems have the same answers. Let's see. Letters A and C both round to 800,000 because $840,000 rounds down to 800,000, and 761,004 rounds up, oh dear, to 800,000. Another number could be and it could be as simple as 801,000. That would still round down. It's our place value there. We'd circle the number next to it. That's 4 or below. So we would leave that number alone. Okay. Great. Doing good. Let's flip it over. You have the word problems on the back. If you have any problems with this, make sure you put a little note to yourself to ask me for the afternoon Zoom conference, okay? I want to make sure that I'm answering all your questions. Solve the following problems using pictures, numbers, or words. Okay. The 2012 Super Bowl had an attendance of just 68,658 people. If the headline in the newspaper the next day read, about 70,000 people attend Super Bowl, how did the newspaper round to estimate the total number of people in attendance? Okay, so let's compare what they told us here. So we are comparing 68,658 people, and they rounded it to 70,000, sorry. So what place value changed when we rounded it? That place value is the 10,000 place value. So if we're going to put it in words, we would say the newspaper rounded to the nearest 10,000 to estimate the total number of people in attendance. Now, if you need to pause this, you can, but remember, your words are right up here, so you should be able to spell these words to answer the question. Use your resources, friends. Okay, so the newspaper rounded to the nearest 10,000 to estimate the total number of people in attendance. If you would prefer to draw a number line, you absolutely can. The same idea. We would know that we were trying to get to 70,000 for our answer. The lower 10,000 number would be 60,000. In between the two, our midpoint would be 65,000. And then we would put where 658,000 would be. 68,658, I'm sorry. And that would round up. Okay. Letter B. The 2011 Super Bowl had an attendance of 103,219 people. If the headline in the newspaper the next day read, about 200,000 people attended Super Bowl, is the newspaper's estimate reasonable? Use rounding to explain your answer. Okay. So, the newspaper's estimate, let's talk about this. There was 103,219 people, and they said about 200,000 people attended. Does that make sense? That doesn't really make sense to me. Because when I think of my number line, and I think of, this time it looks like they were trying to round by the 100,000s, so I would have 100,000 at my bottom, 200,000 as my top number, and 150,000 is my midpoint. 103,219 will be way down here. Yikes. That does not round up to 200,000. So, if they are asking you, is it reasonable? You can answer no. The newspaper's estimate is not reasonable. $103,219 rounds to 100,000 when rounding to the nearest 100,000. Now, what if we weren't rounding to the nearest 100,000? Would this answer have been right if we were rounding to the thousands place? No, it wouldn't have been right. So, when rounding to the nearest 100,000s place, the estimate is not reasonable. And actually, I probably should have written this out as hundreds place. 100, oh goodness me, it's late in the day today, friends. 100,000s place. Okay, letter C. According to the problem above, about how many more people attended the Super Bowl in 2011 than in 2012? Round each number to the largest place value before giving the estimated answer. Okay, so in 2012, just want to make sure you can see that, 2012, they had 68,658, which we rounded to 70,000. In 2011, we had 103,219, which rounds to 100,000. Okay, so now we need to compare them. We're going to do that by subtraction. Okay, or you could have written it this way, 100,000 minus 70,000 is 30,000. Either way is okay with me. So, your answer would be about 30,000 more people attend the Super Bowl in 2011 than 2012. Okay, if you need to pause it to get that finished up, you can. If you have any questions, please put a star next to it and ask me during our Zoom conference at 2. I'd be happy to help you with any questions you have. Thanks, guys. Nice work today.